headquarters.
Okay.
The time on Ratchet's broken watch was deliberately set to conceal the true time of the crime. The vial of vaping liquid incriminated Captain Arbuthnot. However, he had a solid alibi confirmed by Monsieur McQueen. Impossible then to suspect him. The conductor's jacket
Like
found
bananas?
in Detective Locke's suitcase was put there only to cast suspicion upon her. All these false leads were intended for me. But I am Poirot. I understood the truth. We have a train full of suspects. It's time to identify who the real culprits are. Let's start with Detective Locke.
Oh my god, you really do like bananas, huh? Oh my gosh. I love that. Did she do it? No. What is the proof that clears her? She was not seen during the crime. She was drugged. She's a police detective. I mean, being a police detective, like, doesn't mean she couldn't have done it, but she was drugged.
Planting the conductor's jacket in her suitcase was an attempt to implicate Detective Locke, but she couldn't fake her drugged condition. Dr. Constantine can testify that the drugged tea incapacitated her for hours, and she had 2 relapses. Let us move on to Monsieur McQueen. When I told him about Cassetti, he looked very surprised that I managed to make the connection between him and the Armstrong case. He told me, "But I thought we had..." I think he meant...
Eliminated all the clues that we'd already arrested the culprit.
You thought you didn't leave any real clues linking the murder to the Armstrong kidnapping. Moreover, you insisted that Ratchet did not speak French when you knew I had heard a voice calling out in French that was supposed to be Ratchet.
Did Mr. McQueen stab Ratchet? I'd still say no.
I do not think that's the right
Oh,
answer.
really? I mean, what implicates him as father?
You took some pleasure in leaving me false clues, I think. It was quite annoying. But you told me yourself that your father was the district attorney.
So you're telling me that Mr. McQueen murdered him?
The case haunted my father. At first, he believed Suzanne Moreau had helped her boyfriend, Noah, to kidnap Daisy, even though there were questions that went unanswered, and a young policewoman refused to let it go, continuing to find discrepancies, but never enough to reopen the official investigation.
That policewoman sits there. Her name is Joanna Locke.
Then tell him. Tell him how in the end my father believed you, how he resigned a job that he loved, racked with guilt that he may have let that monster go free. He died young, broken, his faith in justice broken. That's what Ratchet did to him.
Thank you for your honesty, Monsieur McQueen. Your father is one more victim of the man who called himself Ratchet. Now, I will turn to Ratchet's valet, Monsieur Masterman.
No.
No,
What?
Poirot. Remember Ratchet's sleeping pills.
Are we suggesting who could have? Because are you saying that of these 12 stabbings, like each person did one? I want ice cream. Go get yourself ice cream. Sleeping pills.
Ratchet sensed danger close to him and naturally wanted to stay awake. You gave him sleeping pills without his knowledge. Once he was sound asleep, you could do what you had to do in peace.
Sir, I'll tell you the truth. I was Colonel Armstrong's adjutant in the war, sir, and afterwards, I was his valet in New York. I'm afraid I concealed the fact this morning. It was very wrong of me, sir, but I knew how suspicious it would look.
Is that all you have to say?
That's all, sir.
Now, to leave no suspicious stone unturned, let us move on to Monsieur Book.
What? Me? A suspicious stone?
Yeah. Did he stab Ratchet? He just doesn't sit right with me.
Come now, Poirot.
Aw.
Book will have a heart attack if you're not careful.
I don't know. I guess he's just weird. What is the proof that Claire Sim, director of the company, found me a room on the train? Our friendship? Friendship don't mean shit.
Book, my friend.
I
Of
guess.
course you are not guilty. You did everything you could to get me on this train. What madness would cause you to ensure, and I speak with all modesty, that the best detective in the world could be present to witness your crime?
But doesn't our friendship count as well?
Most assuredly, but a murderer can wear all sorts of masks, including friendship. Let us consider our ever-efficient wagon-lit conductor, Pierre Michel.
Yeah, I'd say he did. What implicates him? Father of the nanny.
No,
Well,
is
that
his motive.
too, but...
I need real, tangible proof.
Okay, fine. He helped drug Miss Locke.
Your admission that you drugged Detective Locke immediately incriminates you, but the murder could not have been possible without your very capable assistance. Your knowledge of train procedures made the murder possible, and your position in the corridor of the train allowed you to be the perfect alibi for several passengers. And your motive? Suzanne Moreau, Daisy Armstrong's poor nanny, who was wrongly accused and committed suicide, was your daughter.
C'est un foiré. He got what he deserved. My poor daughter has finally been avenged. My Suzanne. My child.
Let's move on now to Monsieur Hardman, one of 3 detectives on this train.
Yeah, because he was the nanny's fiance and she committed suicide and he actually still loved her. So, yeah, I would say he stabbed Ratchet.
Monsieur Hardman, I think you are a real detective.
Where's the
But
option
you
to
were
send the whole train off a
by
cliff?
Ratchet. Your alibi was
Technically,
that
I
you
think
were
they're
watching
still
the
up on this,
corridor
like,
to protect
elevated
Ratchet,
bridge
which,
area.
Of course, you never did. You
So-
protected Pierre Michel. However, we just saw that his alibi doesn't hold up, so neither does yours.
I don't know about the conductor.
Being Suzanne's fiancé, you had a substantial motive to punish Ratchet. You used your detective skills.
Make him
just
walk
as
the plank.
Detective Locke did, to hunt
But,
him
like, do you
down
blame
and
them?
finally avenge the death of
They
your
all, like,
beloved.
suffered so horribly
I-
because of Ratchet, and this little girl was
That's right,
killed
Mr.
and
Poirot.
murdered by him.
I do have some detective skills.
I never
What
doubted
his
it.
motive was, though, we don't know. Like, why did he
No.
take the little girl
Fraulein Schmidt,
and murder
the
her?
lady's maid with
Bowls at the ready.
soul
Get
of
your
a
balls ready. I'd say yes. She worked for the, well, she drugged Miss Locke. She lied about the princess's handkerchief. We have a gold duck. B-tier water type. You can use a netball. Oops.
Fraulein Schmidt, you told me of your remorse for drugging Detective Locke. I believe you are sincere. However, as the cook of the Armstrong family, you experienced the drama from within.
Shiny,
The
please,
death
shiny.
of Daisy, Then
Good luck.
Sonia Armstrong, who died in childbirth. And finally,
Oh
Suzanne
no, it
and
wasn't shiny?
John
Or did you
Armstrong.
miss?
So much misfortune in that poor family. The death of this criminal is only justice.
I don't look right away. I wait for the chat message.
Let us
Ultra-
move on to
oh.
Countess Andreni. I was impressed by
No.
the earnestness of her husband when he swore to me solemnly on his honor
Oath.
that his wife never left her compartment that night. Should I believe it?
Licked every inch of Bubsy. Did Countess... I'd say yes, because she was
Even if it seems
very
logical, it's more
connected.
complicated than that.
I fix with
believe
licks.
Countess Andreni.
She didn't. Sonia Armstrong's sister. All the more reason, though. Botner, JDR, and Dominus. I'm so sorry if you missed. No, it's my fudge pop. What's wrong with your fudge pop? Morally incapable of stabbing? Too weak to stab?
On the contrary,
Yeah,
this
that would
fact
be
gives
motive
her
for
a
the murder.
motive for murder. Countess
Okay.
Andreni, being Sonia Armstrong's sister, you had every reason in the world to want to avenge her. But
Trying to lick
you
my
were
fudge.
incapable of stabbing someone.
Oh, sorry.
Even after what he had done to you and
Don't
your
go
family
anywhere
the
near
night
your
of the
fudge
crime,
tunnel.
You simply took a sleeping pill. I appreciate the irony that nearby, Detective Locke was also in a drugged sleep. When
Ow.
you awoke, you thought
My
the
shoulder
nightmare
popped.
was over.
Rudolph?
Hush, my love. Hush.
Excellent.
Rudolph.
transition. I was coming to you, Count Andreni.
Did he stab her? He could have. Or him. He could have. He didn't like his face. He replaced.
12 people.
Yeah.
A jury. This was very important to all of you. If Countess Andreni did not stab Ratchet, someone had to take her place. And you, Count, the beloved husband.
I believe
I've
that.
seen how fiercely you love and protect your wife.
Enough! I would do anything for Helena. Anything. Even that.
Yes, even that. Let's move on to Monsieur Foscarelli.
I'd say yes.
Detective Locke found out that you were the Armstrong chauffeur.
After 24 hours
and
of
that you
darkness,
plan to
I now
travel
have
on the
internet
same
again.
train at the
Yay!
same time as Ratchet. That is
Congrats.
what made her
Also, hello.
decide to obtain
And
a
welcome.
ticket as well. Unfortunately,
Answers was he is
she could
Italian,
not
I know.
prevent the
He's
murder.
Italian. Oh, means he's a murderer. Apparently.
Have you lost your tongue, Mr. Foscarelli?
Oh, Daisy. She was the delight
I'm
of the
doing good.
house. Tonio, she called me. And she would sit in the car and pretend
I'm
to
doing
drive.
alright. We're just solving
And
murders.
you, Mademoiselle Olson. A
The thing
champion
is,
for
I
the
don't think we're
immigrants.
close to being done with
Worthy
this
call.
game. Because according to the achievements, we're in like what, chapter 8 out of like 13. So I don't know. Feeling zesty for some reason. Okay, it's one of those days. Olson. I don't think so.
I do not think
Really?
that's the right answer. Mademoiselle Olson, you supported Madame Hubbard's story about her connecting
Grabs
door
hammer.
latch, a story that I later demonstrated to be impossible. So, you deliberately lied to me, and you also lied about Mademoiselle Debenham's whereabouts.
Enough! I can't take this anymore. I know what you want from me, Mr. Poirot. Very well. Here it is. She was my little Daisy. My angel, so patient. When I patched a scrape or took her temperature, that was my job. But she was so much more to me. She was a shining light in an ever-darkening world. I've tried to honor her by caring for children who have lost everything.
Thank you, Mademoiselle Olsen. You too shed light on your part in this mystery.
Okay, we never learned much about her. So I don't know how we could accuse her of murder. We didn't know her connection to Daisy. She was the nurse.
You were Daisy Armstrong.
Yeah, we never knew that.
I will ask you no more questions. It is enough that you have admitted what I know to be the truth, and I understand. Let's move on. Dr. Constantine.
You suspect me? I know none of these people. I didn't know Ratchet either, and I've taken a solemn oath to help people, not murder them.
We don't know of him having any connection to the Armstrongs. So, no. That's very debonair mustache. He's a doctor's assistant with the investigation.
Dr. Constantine was certainly helpful to my investigation, but that does not prove he is innocent. You are one of the few people in this room not to have any connection with the Armstrong case. Moreover, your alibi is confirmed by Monsieur Bouc, whom I would trust with my life.
That is very kindly said, my friend.
We now come to Mademoiselle Debenham and
I think he's
Captain
secretly in
Arbuthnot,
love
whose relationship was not
with
in doubt from the moment
Poirot,
I
who we
inspected
play.
your room at the hotel.
You have a bloody nerve.
Indeed, I do.
We're getting married.
Oh, see, I knew they were a
Congratulations,
couple.
But I would rather talk about your relationship to John Armstrong.
What links Captain Arbuthnot to John Armstrong? He wasn't the cook. He wasn't the driver. Oh, brother? Oh.
But I'm never far
Soldiers,
from the truth.
maybe? Because they were both... He kind of looked like him, so I thought maybe brother.
Voila. Captain Arbuthnot, you served in the army with John Armstrong. What I don't understand is why a man your age is still a captain. One might expect you to be a colonel as well.
Ever fought in a war, Poirot?
It was war that first brought me to England.
Then you know what it's like. There's a shattering sound, and death, and mistakes, acting on intelligence that proved to be wrong. I sent a patrol to their death. Good men, brave men, wasted. John testified on my behalf at a court-martial. I'm not a colonel. I don't deserve to
in
be
the sequel
a bloody
series.
fool, but I'm also not in prison.
His last name saves the
John
world with the
remained
help
my
of
best friend.
bleach
until-
blonde martial artists. I have no idea about
you
this
have my
sequel
stories.
stories or anything.
Understand now?
Archie,
I never read
Calm
these,
down,
even this
please.
book.
You're right, Mary. What you see in me, I don't understand.
oh Archie, I see in you what John saw.
Miss Debenham, I'm sorry.
My turn, is it?
I'm afraid so. And you have caused me quite a puzzlement. Your connection with the Armstrong family was not obvious. Then I remembered the job you currently hold.
She's a teacher. So she was a
That's
teacher
the
of...
right answer. You
Daisy?
were the teacher of...
Daisy.
No, she
No.
was the teacher of Countess Andrény.
How old is she? She ain't that old.
You were the teacher of Helena
Of murder.
Andrény, whose maiden name was Helena Goldenberg before she married Count Andrény.
Yes, absolutely. Why lie to you? She was an excellent student.
Yes, please tell us your skincare routine. Like,
Captain Arbuthnot,
She can't be more than, like, in her 20s and possibly 30. Like, did he stab him? I'd say yes. He's military. Means he's just a cold-blooded murderer. The vape liquid.
No, his vial found at the crime
Was a
scene
decoy.
Was a decoy. You had one of the strongest alibis, thanks to
Why
Mr.
would it be a
McQueen.
decoy if he was
But
there and
his
he did it?
testimony melted like a snowflake. There went your alibi. Poof. Unless you have
Poof.
another one. As for you, Mademoiselle Debenham,
Yes.
Mademoiselle Olsen was the only one who could confirm your alibi. I think you know where you stand.
Very good, Mr. Poirot. Are you satisfied?
I will be soon. Now I must turn to Sonia Armstrong's godmother.
Oh,
Princess
Sonia's
Dragomir.
godmother. Not the little girl. Oh. Did she do it? Yes. She was left-handed.
Princess Dragomir.
And they had
You
left-handed
weren't
stab
on my
marks.
list
She's
of
the only one.
suspects At the start, given your social position.
Lady looks like a dragon. She does.
Do you object to being addressed as princess?
She really
We deny
does.
people the opportunity. It makes a good story to tell their friends. It also guarantees a good table in the best restaurants.
Princess, there is also, forgive me, your extreme physical fragility.
It does not stop me when I must be strong.
Indeed. Of more importance, though, is the fact that you're the only left-handed person on the train. And the single blow to ratchet from a left-handed person was very, forgive me, weak. Finally, I'm afraid I know the alibi that you shared
That
with
little
Fräulein
girl.
Schmidt is false.
You have been very thorough, sir. I hope you will permit me to say we are much alike.
I am honored. Now it is time to end with Mrs. Hubbard, or should I say,
Real name.
Linda Arden.
Dun dun dun.
If Princess Dragomirov hadn't told me about her
Faked her
relationship
death.
with this
She ran
famous
away to Tijuana.
actress, I might
Become
not
a
have
singer. She
made
was
the
3.
connection. But you are a great actress, madame. Your performance as a flighty, self-involved woman was superb. I never would have guessed something entirely different. As for what
Ambitious.
ties you to the Armstrong family,
Became Ariana
it
Grande.
is obvious.
What links Habar to the Sonia's mother? Oh, maybe she's the sister of Dragomirov? The princess? She looks like her.
I must admit,
Nope.
I love
Okay,
her
maybe
acting
Sonia's
style.
mother? Godmother of Daisy? Oh, maybe Godmother of Daisy. I don't know.
I do
Yeah, we
not
don't
think
know.
That's the right answer.
Okay, it was Sonia's mother.
I'm right again. That happens to me a lot. Mrs. Hubbard, you are the mother of Sonia Armstrong and Mrs. Andreni.
Yes. What implicates her? Well, she
Balls at
lied
the
about
ready.
the...
Madame Hubbard, you
The
really
door.
are a remarkable actress. You put so much effort into your character and into staging the murder. I saw it as a
We have a Stantler, a C-tier normal type. You can use any ball. We have a shiny of that here.
each person playing his or her allotted part, so carefully arranged that if suspicion should fall on any one person, the evidence of one or more of the others would clear the accused person and confuse the issue. Everything was meticulously planned, but you hadn't expected that Detective Locke and I would be on this train, and the avalanche would block it on the night of the murder. You had to improvise. But again, improvisation would be another of your skills as an actress. So you came up with the story that the latch on the door that communicated with Ratchet's compartment was hidden by the handbag.
I always fancied myself in comedy parts. That slip about the sponge bag was silly. Shows you should always rehearse properly.
She did a
You know
fake
all about
voice
it,
too.
Mr. Poirot. You're a very wonderful man, but even you can't quite imagine what it was like. That awful day. I was just crazy with grief. So were the servants. We decided then and there that the sentence of death that Ratchet had escaped had got to be carried out. There were 12 of us, or rather 11. Suzanne's father was over in France, of course. First, we thought we'd draw lots.
Dominus,
But in the end, we
Phaedro,
decided on
JDR,
this one.
and
It was the
Fab.
driver, Antonio, who suggested it. Mary worked out
Sorry
all the
if you
details
missed.
later with Hector McQueen. It took a long time to perfect our plan. We first had to track Ratchet down. Hardman managed that in the end. Then we had to try and get Edward and Hector into his employment. Well, we managed that. Then we had a consultation with Suzanne's father. Captain Arbuthnot was very keen on having 12 of us. He seemed to think it made it more orderly. He didn't like the stabbing idea much. But he agreed that it did solve most of our difficulties. Well, Suzanne's father was willing. Suzanne had been his only child. We knew from Hector that Ratchet would be coming back from the east, sooner or later, by the Orient Express. With Pierre Michel actually working on that train, the chance was too good to be missed. My daughter's husband had to know, of course, and he insisted on coming on the train with her. Hector wrangled it so that Ratchet selected the right day for traveling when Michel would be on duty. And then, at the last minute, you came. For the rest of the story, you worked out everything, Mr. Poirot. You were right about all of us. What are you going to do about it? If it must all come out, can't you lay the blame upon me, and me only? I would have stabbed that man 12 times willingly. It wasn't only that he was responsible for my daughter's death, and her child's, and that of the other child who might have been alive and happy now. It was more than that. There had been other children kidnapped before Daisy, and there might be others in the future. Society had condemned him. We were only carrying out the sentence, but it's unnecessary to bring all these others into it. All these good, faithful souls.
You are
Add in about a
director
minute.
of the company,
99%.
What do you say?
So close. You must not have many left.
In
How
my
many
opinion,
do you have yet?
The first theory you put forward was the correct one. Decidedly,
Oh.
I suggest that is the
Yeah,
solution
you only
we
had
offer
like
to the
4 or
police.
5.
You agree,
Fab,
Doctor?
so
Certainly, I agree. As regards the medical evidence, I think that I made one or two
Electivire,
fantastic
yeah.
suggestions.
Oh right. Yeah, you did mention some of them
Then,
earlier.
having placed my